What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, I just finished. Well, I didn't actually finish. I stopped listening to one of Digital Foundry's. I don't know if it's the latest video or what, but they were talking about all the Microsoft layoffs and all that stuff. And this is the first one where John Linneman is back from vacation or whatever. So you know which one it is exactly. And y'all were right. I'll admit it. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, they know about tech and all the stuff. They're so smart, blah, blah, blah. And I hear them for over 40 minutes. I didn't even finish listening to it, and they're still going on about it, right? Them, doom and gloom, Microsoft, Xbox. Like, these are three grown-ass men, right? And they are following to a T, whatever the narrative is, whoever created this narrative of doom and gloom. Oh my gosh, they don't know what they're doing. I have doubt. I have confidence. I have no confidence in what Xbox is going to do, blah, blah, blah. Without taking into consideration, one, most of the team from Redfall was gone. 70% left. That's why they shut them down, because they weren't the Redfall team anymore. They weren't Austin anymore. They were just a shell, right? And two, Hi-Fi Rush, right? That team, Tango Gameworks, the dude left like 2 years ago. And whoever else probably left too. He's making a whole new studio, probably with all the same people. But no, the Digital Foundry people don't, oh no, you know. And also, John Linneman's a fool. I want to reach into the internet and smack. Do a Three Stooges on them. Because I don't really like to reference Three Stooges because I watched it a little bit, but not that much. So, whatever, you get it. But John Linneman's talking about, oh yeah, and the debacle that Perfect Dark, and I'm like, y'all are still on that same old, bashing Microsoft narrative when Jeff Grubb literally a couple of days ago said, oh, I heard it's in good shape right now. It's really good, looking good, Oh, John Linneman, oh, I've been on vacation, so I don't know. Why don't you read something before you open your fat mouth? Okay, that was a little too much. But I'm just saying. And the thing about the misinformed John Linneman and company is that people listen to them like they know what they're talking about. Now, I'm going to assume that they usually do know what they're talking about because we don't know what the hell they're saying, because most of the time they're like, oh, the Pixel this and the SSR and this and the pisser and the right? They're saying all this complex stuff. The normies is like, does it play good on my box? Can I play it? Is it on Game Pass? Simple questions, right? That they don't even answer, right? Because it's beneath them. But now they're handling a topic that really isn't in their expertise. Their expertise is looking at videos and finding and pixel hunting and doing all these things, not commentating on the business of video games. And this episode of their show illustrated that 100%. And I'm listening to these, I'm like, I hear what they're saying, and what they're saying sounds like a pony wrote an AP article describing what they wanted to be true about Microsoft. That's what it sounded like. And what it sounds like is that every outlet is repeating the same thing. Just like mainstream media, kind of, you saw the clips where the news reporters would say the same exact copy. The same thing. They clip it all together. And I was like, how's that? All they do is regurgitate what the AP puts out, right? Associated Press. And so I think that's happening in video games. I'm not sure if the Associated Press covers video games. If it does, I don't know how that works. I don't know the structure. I don't know how many people are actually writing into the Associated Press. Like I said, I don't understand how it works. But let's pretend that I do. And there's one dude who's a pony who is contributing to the video game portion of the Associated Press, which I don't even think, whatever. And this is what's happening. You're getting pony-centric news, anti-Xbox news. And then all of the outlets regurgitate it because they have no original ideas or journalistic integrity themselves. So they're like, oh, this is the IP set. Let's go. Let's say that right there. Let's go see it. Yeah. I'm like, why? But anyway, I mean, besides looking at these three gentlemen not intelligently analyzing the situation and looking at all of the different reasons why they close the studios. You know, you don't know all the information, so you're going off of reports from whomever, and it makes you look less intelligent. That's what it does. And for a site like Digital Foundry, you know, that was like the high bar is like, yo, these dudes know what they talking about. They know the tech. Now it's like, oh, y'all are just like IGN, except y'all got better computers to do the little pixel hunting stuff. Y'all, and you got a retro guy who has a lot of old systems in his background and doesn't know what he's talking about. Nobody knows what they're talking about over there. And so now, you know, I mean, sure, I'm late to the party as far as, you know, Dirk Griggity and Sean and them, where they have the echo chamber and they're like, yo, we don't want to hear nothing from these ponies, da 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 da. And I agree with that 1,000%, right? I don't want to hear from no ponies. I don't want to hear no donkey unicorns saying no stuff. But I do leave the door open for gamers. If you're a PlayStation gamer and you're not a donkey unicorn and a pony, let's go. Let's talk. We can have a civil discussion that makes sense. And you can say, well, you know, it was kind of messed up that Microsoft closed some studios. And I'm like, yes, I agree. But let's be realistic and ask the question, why? Why did they close it? Now, if it's just like, oh, we just want to save money, we were paying too much money, blah, 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 blah. But is there more than that? I mean, usually that's what it is. It's all about money. They don't want to spend the money. They don't see the investment in further investing or paying for these studios, you know, whatever each situation is. Sure, that's a business decision. And the reasoning is, oh, yeah, we want to put more money into franchises that we know will do well. Money. You know, money, money, money. That's what it is, right? So, yes, I understand that as a business part. Also, we don't know what they're going to announce next month in June. Also, Activision just opened up a new studio. So, who's to say that some of the people who were let go found a job at Activision? I would assume some of them. I don't know what the percentage is, but when you have an opening like that, it's like, yo, we just got laid off from blah, blah, blah. Like, what you do? I empty out the garbage cans. Well, we don't need a janitor. Hit the bricks, buddy. Now, what do you do? I refill the toner and the printers. Nope. What do you do? Well, I am a senior concept level designer and character designer and vehicle. I specialize in vehicles and futuristic. Okay, shut up. You hired. Draw stuff. You know, you never know. You never know when you're going to need a illustrator, my boy. I don't want to say the words because Derek Griggity has copyright on it. Anyway, yeah. So it's like if we had clairvoyance, if we had clarity on all of the facts, all of the factors in those situations, then I'm sure we could have more informed opinions. And maybe Microsoft is a super bad guy and they had really no reason to do it except for to save money, blah, blah, blah. And as it is a good business decision, morally, it kind of sucks because people lose their job. But on the other hand, are they creating 4 more studios that are new, that shuffle the people around and, you know, maybe frees up some, I don't know, I wasn't say talent, but it frees up some of the things that were keeping them, like the studios themselves, keeping them like kind of bottled up and unable to do the things they wanted to do? Or were the pitches of their next game like kind of whack? Or was it like, okay, we're gonna do Hi-Fi Rush 2, and Microsoft's looking at it like, but that first one was great and everybody thought it was great. Yeah. Y'all realize that was not a little indie game. That was a big game, a big-ish game. You can just tell by the production value and the animation itself. If y'all are animators out there, or you fan of animation, you look at that. Like, I looked at the animation, right? And I'm like, first off, it is insanely difficult to make CG animation look how they made it look. Like, they made it look like it was hand-drawn as far as how the beats were and the keyframes and all that stuff. And I was like, yo, I mean, recently it has the 3D animation skill set, I guess, has gotten to a point where it's like, yo, I'm looking at the X-Men, the X-Men 97. I'm like, hold up, is some of that CG? Because some of it seems like it's CG. Because it's like, yo, there's like, and some of it does seem a little rough or whatever. But I'm looking at that, I'm like, yo, are they that good that you can't tell if it's CG or not anymore? It's like the consistency of the models, man. You got to look at like, oh, it's like, psh. But anyway, we never know. And so until we don't know, we can't really make an informed opinion about those things. So I'm going to say, hopefully what they announce in June, it's going to remedy, and it's going to, I mean, look, we as a collective, the internet, have a very short attention span. So, if they blow it up like baboosh, and they're like, oh my gosh, that was the best thing I ever seen, all these games, blah, 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 blah. All these people got jobs. They opened up 59 new studios. Everybody who got laid off got new jobs, blah, blah, blah. You never know what's going to happen, right? And also, I've heard this sentiment too. These people who got laid off aren't just schmucks. They have skills. They make video games, right? And you can say, well, there's a whole bunch of people who do it. Nah. And Alex Battaglia, he was like, it was Alex. He was like, oh man, the mind share, the knowledge bank of the people you let go and blah blah blah. I'm like, first off, you don't know if they were let go. Some of the people were transferred to other divisions in Bethesda. One whole team was transferred to ZeniMax Online. So what you say, in theory, is true, but they're omitting the parts where it negates their argument. And I'm sitting there and I'm arguing with the podcast. I'm sitting there yelling at it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with the Digital Foundry for the most part. I mean, I'll watch something here and there, but honestly, I'd rather watch Andy Pants. He's funny. I like him. As far as like tech stuff, I mean, I'll watch Gamers Nexus all day long. Although I got a problem with Steven. Steven, I'm looking at you. His latest one where he basically went over the layoffs too, the Microsoft layoffs, and he was reading from the same script. And I'm like, what? Really? Listen, Steven. I hold you in the highest. I hold you higher than the Digital Foundry fools. I mean, they went down a peg or two, but I still held you higher before they went down. Cause you go in. He is probably one of the few actual tech journalists that exist in the internet, in the industry right now today. Not just video, tech. Because he did a thing on what was it? It was Asus. It was Asus customer service, and they got a computer that was broken. It was the ROG Ally. And he did the whole thing, and they did an in-depth freaking it wasn't an analysis. They broke it, like their Asus, their ROG Ally was messing up. It had stick drift, and then the SD card reader was broken. It wasn't working right. And so they're like, yo, they took it apart. They documented every step, every stage. They took out the hard drive so they can, that's what you're supposed to do. Basically, they sent it in. They went through the whole show, the whole like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It was all about this interaction with Asus, and it was in depth. And I was like, look, I don't see anybody else in the industry going in on like just a graphics card company. You know what I'm saying? And this wasn't even about the product itself. Well, I mean, they make hardware. They make the ROG Ally. But it was about the product, but it was more about the customer service and how they pretended. They didn't say, oh, we're Gamers Nexus and we know everything about everything. No, they said they pretended that they were just like dumb, casual, Joe Schmo consumer. And they did it basically by the book, like how any Joe Schmo consumer would have done it. And it was, I won't even go into it, but eventually they got it done and did. But I was like, yo. And it made me think. And I was like, am I going to buy Asus ever again because of this? Because if this is how they handle it, because a lot of the things that are responsive seem to be like automated. So it's like, oh, if there's a little scratch or something, then, it doesn't cut. We have to fix this. We have to change the whole case because we have to change the whole case, right? And this is just one example. In order to change the case, they had to change the screen too because the screen was attached to the case. that was a $200 job, right? And they were like, there's a little bitty, itty bitty, scuffy scuff on the plastic part of the. Nothing wrong with the screen, but they got to change the screen because, you know what I'm saying? Man, I was like, yo, these mud flowers, yo, nope. And so I will watch Steve even though he did what he did on that last video talking about what are they doing? They buy this company and then they don't know what they're doing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, ugh. And it does seem like people talk about messaging, da, da, da. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But what people are doing, and I don't know if everybody realizes this or anybody realizes this, people are not listening. Because Matt Booty specifically said, this is why we close down these studios. And what I keep hearing is, they don't know what they're doing. Why did they do that? Well, couldn't they do this and that and the third? Because he explained it in like 2 sentences. Like, yo, we trying to consolidate. Well, he didn't say it. This is paraphrasing, but it's like, we need to prioritize our properties that we want to invest more money in, blah, 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 right? So you cut the fat here, put more money in here, right? Right. If you put more money in here, that means you probably need some more people working on it, right? Right. Anyway, point is, people are not, they're omitting part of the narrative in order to just dog on Microsoft. And I'm like, look, Microsoft deserves some heat, of course. But to the ends that people are going is a little extreme. You know, they deserve heat for, you know, laying off people. But at the same time, a couple of days ago, was it Square Enix or I can't remember who it was, they laid off people. When Sony laid off people, when they closed Japan studio, London studio, all these studios, the I Dream of Genie, the Genie Jungle, City Jungle Genie, whatever that game was called. When they closed down the Dream Studio, where were the people crying? Where are the people saying, oh my gosh, Sony doesn't know what they're doing? Explain yourself, Sony. Where were the people crying then? You know what I'm saying? And that's the double standard that I can't stand. And that's when I hear Digital Foundry, blah, 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 and then Steve, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right now, I didn't hear you talk about dreams like that. And I would posit, I would say, argue that Dreams, the studio Media Molecule, was a better studio than Tango Gameworks, Arcane Austin. Because they literally created a game engine. Bespoke game, I guess it was bespoke, I would imagine it was. Game engine. The problem with that, Dreams, is that Sony mismanaged and mishandled that title. If it was day and date on PC, that could be a new game engine that everybody uses. All you need to do is have a type of distribution platform and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? Say, yo, you could put this out on Steam. You know, if you build it in the Dreams engine, you could put it out on Steam. But no, Sony was too concerned about selling consoles and not making money. So whatever, man. It's like I see little instances of this in the industry when it's Sony doing dumbass stuff and nobody says nothing. And I'm like, you know, I'm just throw my hands up. You know, Mega Brother just like, you know what? I'm gonna just not say nothing no more and just play my games. Maybe I'll just start streaming gameplay because it's like it's a lose-lose situation when it comes to the industry because they have their mindset on destroying Xbox and defending Sony no matter what they do. And that's nauseating. That's sickening. I'm like, why? They're literally slapping you in the face with their penises saying, here, slap $70, slap $70, slap $100, Spider-Man 3, slap, $150, actually. Slap. And y'all like giving me more papa. Give me more daddy. No daddy. You know, it is frustrating. I just hope that Microsoft, I mean, there's a bunch of smart people there, right? So I just hope that Microsoft, with their plans, and I believe what their plan is basically Call of Duty. That's the plan. The plan is put Call of Duty in Game Pass. Game Pass is going to grow. It's not going to lose no money. I was hearing them on Digital Foundry. They're like, oh my gosh, where you going to lose the money if you put the Call of Duty on Game Pass? You're going to lose the... I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm conflating. That was Boomstick's show. Wow, I totally forgot the Breakfast with Boom. Anyway, he had I forgot what his name was. Wow, my bad. But he had a special guest on there, and so they were saying that Call of Duty. No, it was Digital Foundry. I think it was Alex. It's like Call of Duty putting it on Game Pass will cannibalize the sales, right? And I'm like, okay, but what they didn't do, right? What they didn't do is say maybe the additional subscriptions to Game Pass offsets that price. Think about it. All you need is 5 months of Game Pass to more than equate to a $70 Call of Duty purchase. All you need to do is retain a Call of Duty previous player into Game Pass for 5 months. Past that, you're making money. You're making more money than you would have. And you say, yo, pay for Game Pass for 5 months. In 6 months, we're going to have an expansion. Pay for that. You get a discount from Game Pass. If it's $20, it's like 16 or 17. I've bought DLC on Game Pass, and it's cheaper than buying it outright, just regular, without being on Game Pass. And so that's like, it's like, well, I was going to buy the game and the expansions anyway, so why wouldn't I do that? Or they can do the Game Pass discount on the battle passes. If they do that, I think it's 25% or something, like 25%. I think it's 20%, maybe 15. I don't remember the percentage, but if they save that percentage and they do that on the battle passes, that's kind of smart. If they do that, then it's like, that's a no-brainer. It's like, look, I'm getting it on Game Pass. I'm gonna play it all year anyway. I'm gonna play it for more than 5-6 months. I'm gonna get the battle pass, get it cheaper on Game. It's a no-brainer. And anecdotally, I heard people talking about, well, it was another podcast, I talked about this before, where someone has friends who say, yo, when is Call of Duty going to be on Game Pass? I heard about this Game Pass, when it's going to be on there. We're waiting for it to go on Game Pass. I'm like, well, that's it. If that's the consensus, if that's most people, most casuals, it's over. Sony, I mean, you can play it on PlayStation if you want. If you want to pay more. But whatever. But anyway, I appreciate you hanging out, showing them like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the media being dummies. Do you want to smack them through the internet like I do? Do you? I think you do. Yeah, the Game Pass, just everything. I mean, I'll admit, you guys were right about Digital Foundry. I saw it today. I was like, so whatever. I might watch some of their stuff, but I'm not gonna waste the time watching their whole show unless it's about, excuse me, a specific game or something, maybe. Or like a specific hardware stuff. And when they talk about hardware, then that's different. They can't be biased because it's basically numbers and facts. But when they're talking about like the business of the internet or the business of video games, and I'm like, well, that's not really your wheelhouse, so I'm gonna just pass on that. Anyway, preach and I hit, and I'll check you out on the next one. Took the weed.